Truth be told, Pod.com. Woo! We are at pod number 26. Hello, world. How y'all doing? We are live and we are cooking with gas, baby. I'm trying to hurry up and keep this fire stroking because we had a good one going before we got on air. So I'm trying to catch it. So let me introduce the players before we get too excited. First off, back to the original seating. To my right. For you ladies, he might be known as Retro Crotch. But his name is Vinny Fernandez.
Hello, people. Let's get it on.
Yeah, let's get it on like Marvin Gaye. And next door right here,
Man,
we got my man. We got my man. We got my man.
Bring it already, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luis Fernandez.
Oh, we're the boys of chorus. We hope you like our show. We know you're rooting for us, but now we've got to go.
Go, 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 go. And that's what I'm talking about, baby. Truth be told, I'm here with the Fernandi. I am your host, Scott Baker. Wolf Griffin has taken a sabbatical. He has taken a leave of absence due to medical reasons. Too many Wolf challenges in a row. Got to start separating those ducks, man. So we're going to keep it cracking. We're going to get right into it. We're going to get into this current events, man. There's a lot going on. First off, again, we got another shooting, man. We got another shooting, man. This time, it's in Wisconsin, man. Oak Park, Wisconsin. A guy by the name of Wade, what is Wade's last? Wade Page. And he's a ex-U.S. officer. They've been, all the evidence is coming out now. And he went to a Sikh temple, man, and he shot and killed 7 people, man, and he was killed himself by the police. Now, this is horrific, Shout out to the Sikh people. I apologize for our
prayers go out to all the families.
I hate that our Americans are representing us like this, and with him being an ex-military U.S. Army man, and he was discharged as well in like '98 for I believe they labeled it as misconduct. So we don't know what that is.
Mm-hmm.
But
it'll come out.
Yeah, clearly he had some issues. But it brought up an even better question, man. We've been having, what's up with these gun laws, man? Because with all the issues we've been having, all the shootings, the thing out in Colorado a few weeks ago at the Batman premiere.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it's been like this for years, man. Americans have always had tragedies. Look at the Columbine shooting. Look at the Virginia Tech shooting. You have these people who get weapons out of thin air, all right? These mid-20s, all right, early 30s people, they come and they get guns. They don't need the proper identification. They don't need background checks. You can get a gun so easily. Me, I'm all for having a gun. I'm all for having a gun to protect yourself, your family. I believe it's needed. I believe there's some things the police can't do.
Yeah.
All right, but there's some guns that
they get there too late.
Yeah, police do get there too late.
Yeah, because you make a phone call and it takes 3 minutes, and you can get off 2 or 3 rounds in that minute. In that 3 minutes, when you got an assault rifle. My contention always has been for the longest time that civilians should not have assault rifles. But I understand there are extenuating circumstances, and I do believe that, I can amend that and say, well, okay,
but I mean,
a civilian should be able to have an assault rifle, but you shouldn't just have a gun license and get any gun you feel like having. You should have a license for an assault rifle.
What circumstance is there where somebody would actually need an assault rifle?
There are gun enthusiasts. I understand there are people who love guns and who they'll just put it out on display.
Don't sell them bullets.
If you just put it on display, I have no problem with you having an assault rifle. But the only reason that anyone should have or would have an assault rifle, in my estimation, is to do bodily harm to another human being. And you have no reason to have it. If you're a hunter, you want to take out some squirrels and shit, well then go ahead. That's fine and dandy.
Squirrels are protected.
Squirrels could be, and in New York City, you better not fuck with the squirrels. They'll shoot back. But the whole thing is that if you want an assault rifle, you should be licensed for that specific assault rifle. And you should have to be accountable for it.
Now, see, I always play the devil advocate
with
these situations, with any law that comes out.
Right.
When you talk about gun control, the main thing with gun control is what happens when there is a circumstance when we do have, like our forefathers put in the Constitution, you have something like, in the British soldiers coming to your door or people coming to your door forcing you to do things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if a U.S. soldier comes to my doorstep, all right, and I got my pistol, you know what I'm saying, which I think only people should have pistols. Pistols, handguns, those should be universal. You know,
good, so I can get my baby to eat. Alright, cool.
But that's what I'm saying. I think it's okay to have a pistol, but once you start getting shotguns and bazookas and you know what I mean? We talk about Grand Theft Auto Vice City, San Andreas type.
Yeah.
You know, I think that if a U.S. soldier does come to your door, though, a handgun ain't gonna be able to do nothing.
And
to a U.S. soldier,
I agree.
any soldier, you know.
I agree, but how many instances has anybody out there had where a U.S. soldier walked up with a freaking assault rifle, knocking at your door? Like I told my wife after she said she didn't want an attached garage in the house. Oh, well, what if the car blows up? How many instances of cars blowing up have you experienced,
you know
dear?
how bad your car would have to be to park it in the garage? Like, hey, honey, I'm coming in. I'm about to park the car.
Boom! Okay, how many times does that happen?
You better go pay them.
Okay, and in the same light, how many times has a soldier walked up to your house? They haven't in my.
But there's always that fear.
There's always that fear. But you can't live your life in fear, and you can't certainly carry around a weapon, hoping, oh well, you know, I'm carrying this, you know, this bazooka in the house in case a tank comes at my house.
Right.
And I want to be able to defend myself. That's a load of bullshit. Yeah. I'll say you're carrying that bazooka because you want to blow up a building or somebody. Yeah. So you can't come to me. It's like, yes, you can have it, but if you're an enthusiast and you know, like if you're a former soldier and you've had that before and you just like to keep it on your wall or something or have it in a display case,
go to the gun range.
Right, go to the well, not with a bazooka, but go to the gun range, you know,
hey,
or whatever.
Make changes. It's 2012.
Right, exactly. So, but I mean, to have an assault rifle and to have multiple assault rifles in your home.
Some people are out here saying that if these people who, even at this temple, imagine the people at the movie theaters, the people at the Virginia Tech shooting, the people at Columbine. Well, I'm not talking about the schools. The schools are a whole different thing. Yeah. But outside in the public, if these people are contending that if you did have an assault rifle at the ready, all right, maybe you could have stopped this.
Or maybe it could have been worse.
I was about to say it could have
been more of a bloodbath because you have people running, and when you have an assault rifle and you're not, if you're a civilian, my assumption is that you are not going to be an expert at shooting this thing.
No, you're gonna hurt yourself.
Okay, and there are going to be people running in front of you. There's this thing called crossfire.
Yeah.
All right, where people in front of you, if you're halfway, you have to be able to shoot him right between the eyes in order to stop him. Okay, that is not an answer. To getting more guns is not an answer.
Yeah.
Well, I always look at the little Family Guy episode. I'm a
Family Guy episode.
Well, I'm saying it's a good point. They made a good point in this episode.
Okay, let me hear that.
Let's hear it.
I love Family Guy
too.
The
episode called The Boom, where, you know, Peter and them, you know, they got into, it was the Y2K episode where the Earth blew up, you know, the apocalypse.
Right.
You know, he made a new town, and basically, he took all the metal he could and he started making guns. He was like, we need some guns here.
About Pretoria?
Yeah, Pretoria.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, it was not Pretoria, New Quahog.
Oh, New Quahog,
New Quahog. You got guns, and the people were like, what do we need guns? We need food and water. You know, great point. Absolutely, you're absolutely right. But what happens when that force you don't see? A whole bunch of stewies, octopus stewies come and they kill everybody after they burn the guns.
Mm-hmm.
So it's ironic. You know what I'm saying? All the people who are like, oh, we don't need guns, all right, when they need defense, they're gonna go to the people with the guns.
Right.
But think about all the my problem with all that is the emotionally unstable people, the people that are uneducated. Like Lou said, the people that don't know how to shoot. Because I've shot a gun a few times. I'm an enthusiast. I love going to the gun range. But man, that first time I like broke my shoulder blade because I didn't realize the kickback on the gun. You have to hold a gun with a stance, because if you don't, especially if it has a kickback, man, you jerk your fucking shoulder blade out of the socket.
Oh, there are instances, man. I've heard terrible stories of kids playing with guns and they shoot it, and you know it ends up right here towards their head. You know, if they shoot it in the kickback, makes it point towards their head. And
right.
You can break your face like that with a gun just kicking back and hitting you in the chin. That shit is real. And just imagine like, excuse me, edit. Just imagine like a mother, an emotional person, a woman with a gun. And she's on her monthly.
Well, like
she's having a bad day.
Well, what was my contention with Mr. Scott, with Mr. Baker here? Yeah, he could have that. What is it? That Desert Storm? What is it?
Desert Eagle.
Desert Eagle.
They are very huge guns, so that's why I said I want the baby.
It's a huge gun, and I have no problem with Mr. Baker having it until that first young man who comes and messes with his little girl. That's when I have a problem, because Mr. Baker is not going to think clearly.
I don't think I would shoot first though, because I've owned guns.
I'm not accusing you.
Like he wasn't boys. What's it called? Bad Boys 2. When Martin Lawrence came to the door with the gun on.
Oh no, I ain't even gonna tote it. I'm gonna embarrass you first.
No. Okay.
Now, if you're a continually a problem, then I might have to flash.
You see, I have no problem with you starting with the gunshots. I have a problem with you finishing.
Right.
Because you will finish.
I'm gonna finish with these two right here, though.
Okay.
King James and Carmelo.
King James and Carmelo.
He's making two fists, ladies.
Because these two guys right here hit harder than any bullet.
King James. Well, first of all, your left hand must be soft because Melo ain't that strong of a character.
Hold on for a minute.
Oh man, we're getting off task. We digress.
But anyways, you can come see Carmelo if you want.
Okay, now another contention I have about this whole gun thing is in relation to this shooter. Former military, we have a big problem in this country. We do not support, and I mean monetarily support, our troops that are coming back.
Yeah.
They're coming back with mental issues. They're coming back with physical issues. They're coming back and they're unemployed.
Yeah, I'm about to say there's no reason why Army people should be homeless.
That is a disgrace in this country, and we have to start helping these people because they are coming back, and especially the mental issues, because you can't see it. That doesn't jump out at you, but it emanates itself in their actions. And here we go, another former military fella had mental issues in the past, comes back, blows people away here, and I mean, again, you know, it's. How many times is this going to happen before we start figuring out? We're looking at the symptoms instead of trying to fix the problem.
Yeah, I can agree to that. Definitely shout out to the military. You know, they protect us. They keep us safe here in the U.S. And I think people have lost the value for that. These cats are more important than a lot of people that get paid over here. They do a lot more for us as a country. And I know for a fact I've had family members that have been in the military. And they've came back, man, and there's certain things that you can say or certain triggers, and their whole personality will change. They'll have a flashback. They'll go back to a moment that they remember in the war.
Right.
I had an uncle like that, man, and it's certain things you do not say.
When you don't set off, I know a guy who you set off fireworks or something around him. You know, he starts to panic.
Right.
You know, he's ducking and covering. He's moving stuff. He's throwing stuff out of the way. You know, giving himself cover, thinking he's getting shot at.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. We don't take that into account at all as a society. And we've been at war for a decade.
It's ignorant to think that somebody can go to war, kill regularly, see the things that they've seen, and then come back in the regular society and be perfectly fine.
Well, that says a lot about their character,
Well,
if they're able to do that.
I say look at the way history has played wars. You know what I'm saying? After World War I and after World War II, most Americans were extremely supportive. They helped them any way they could. Mm-hmm. But once the Vietnam War came around, we had this whole different aspect. Yes, as Americans, we support our troops to the fullest. Mm-hmm. We sound good. It sounds good, don't it? We always make the right. We always say the right things. Mm-hmm. All right, but action-wise, we still hold that the Vietnam War. That stigma is still around to this day.
Absolutely.
A lot of people do not trust the military. They don't feel good about the military. They think the military is there for the wrong reasons. There are a lot of people out there like that, and I for one, I think that these people need help. You know, these people have to be supported, not only emotionally and spiritually, but financially. You got these people coming back, and they're homeless, man. They're on the side of Times Square, all right, telling their story for a quick buck.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Drinking all types of day, doing all types of hard drugs, shooting up temples.
Mm-hmm. And then see another thing before we move on, because I know we got other topics, but this is big. Another thing is too, the U.S. is such a melting pot now. We have just about every culture, every nationality represented in the U.S. Just about.
Gay people.
So these people that you were at the war shooting and killing now are your neighbors.
Right.
So that in itself, like,
that's huge.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, you think about it, like they
they're
said,
around you. They're all around you. They're working with you. They're living with you.
They're your bosses, your managers, your co-workers, and how do you change that train of thought? So like, these are people I was killing anytime I seen. Now I'm supposed to make them in?
What if you were killing Iraqis and then all of a sudden you come home and you're working next to an Iraqi?
Yeah.
It's tough to change up. I knew after all the wars in the past, after World War II, people in America weren't
They didn't want to be around Japanese people.
Okay?
Right.
It wasn't a very cool thing to do, you know?
If you were German, you were not going to, amplify that to the world. In America, if you were German.
Even nowadays, you have Muslims or Iraqis or
especially after 9/11,
Middle Easterns, they're calling themselves Indians. They're saying, "Oh, I'm Hindu. I'm not." You know,
but the difference is, unlike a German who can just like change his name, okay, from Schultz to whatever, they can't change their way of clothing, their clothing, and that's the first thing that people are going to jump at: the color of your skin, how you're clothed.
Yeah.
Okay, they're going to look at that even before they see how you act. All right? I mean, we have a situation where my daughter, my oldest daughter, she has a very strong Indian presence. She looks like she's Pakistani. She looks like she could be from a Middle Eastern country. She's not Middle Eastern at all.
Right.
She's just mixed.
Right.
So it comes out as giving the appearance of being Indian. And I'm afraid that somebody might actually say something or do something to her because she has that appearance.
Absolutely. We got to do something to bridge that gap, man, because like I said, it's in our face now. It's here. For all of us in the U.S. is no longer just American. It's worldwide. It really is. The culture and everything.
No, we're global now. We're global now. The internet has made us global. Yeah. We're not separate countries anymore.
All these things have to be acclimated. All these things have to be brought together. It has to be some type of program or something to happen to deal with these issues because they're not being dealt with. And you don't want situations like what just happened with this shooting to continue to happen, because then you're going to start seeing a lot of segregation. You're going to start seeing people just hang with their communities. And we've been working too hard to get away from that.
That's moving backwards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, we're gonna wrap this up because we're going on 20 minutes. And this is
well, I have one last thing to say. We spend more money. We spend exponentially more money in this country on making bombs than we do taking care of our military that comes back home. There's a start to something that we can get started on right today.
There you have it. Lou is right. Put more money towards the veterans. Put more money towards the veterans. And we're going to move on. And Lou, take us in our next topic about our supreme gymnast, Gabby.
Gabby Douglas. Congratulations. Shout out to her. She's on Twitter and she's on Facebook. She's fantastic. I give her all the props in the world. She's the first American to ever win the individual all-around gold medal in gymnastics and the team. She's also the first black woman. I call her a woman even though she's 16. But when you've accomplished what she has, as far as I'm concerned, you are a full-fledged woman, my dear. What struck me was the reaction on Twitter and on Facebook in regards to her hair. That's a big subject in the black community. As far as women are concerned, there are women who are out there. There are black women out there who won't work out, from what I understand, because they don't want to get their hair messed up.
My whole thing is, Gabby is an Olympic champion.
She's an Olympian.
She's a gymnast.
She's an all-time Olympian. She is a historically prominent Olympian already.
What does it matter if her hair is not permed or?
But that illustrates the importance in the black community of how important hair is to females. To think that they will not work out or not be athletically inclined because they do not want to get their hair messed up is amazing to me, and it says a whole lot about the mentality.
It goes hand in hand. We were talking about a few shows ago about how the substance of a woman has changed, and now it's all about the physical. It's all about the exterior. It's all about the big butt and the hairdo and the nails. Then you get her to the house and you're like, "Hey, can you wash some dishes?" She's like, "What? Dishes? Not with these new nails. Don't mess up my hair."
And listen, subsequently, don't underestimate this. What happens when they get older? Okay, and things start to sag. And things don't look beautiful as they did when you were 22, 23, and now you're 43. Okay? Still say, but the problem is that doesn't last. Yeah. That is not something, and this is something that you didn't even have to explain to people back in the day, but now apparently you have to explain to them.
The value is lost.
Your looks are not going to last forever. There's going to come a time when people are going to look at you as an old person.
Yeah.
Did you hear the stun and hatred in his voice?
But it's serious. I mean, that's why you got I believe they said the single woman's numbers has risen from a woman being single and not being married over the last decade. I think it's risen like 30-40%.
And it's astounding.
That's
that
huge.
It's astounding that this young woman who has made such big strides in her life, not only in her life but in the American Black Olympians' lives.
Black gymnasts.
To be worried about. You were talking about that other girl. They're talking about how big her feet are.
Yeah.
Missy Franklin.
I mean, can we be real here?
Is that really an article?
Can we be for real? We worried about people's feet
and their hair. Forget what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. That they're accomplishing these magnificent physical feats.
I opened up the internet and the first story that popped up was talking about how big Missy Franklin's feet were. I'm almost sure that's probably the last thing on her resume with the list of accomplishments this young lady has accomplished to even be in the Olympics.
But that's the claim to fame for our time. For this generation, it's looking at what's on the outside. Look at how people treat Tim Tebow. All right, I don't want to change subject here, but look how people treat Tim Tebow. He's a class act. He's a smart guy. All right, he's spiritual. All right, but when you first look at Tim Tebow, that's not what you think. The first thing you look at Tim Tebow is, oh, he's a good-looking black guy. That's what. I'll tell you now. That's what most people would think. He's a good-looking white guy.
Well, look what happened when he took off his shirt after practice the other day.
Oh God, no more.
Twitter almost crashed.
And I mean, we do a sports show, and this is not a sports show, but please, this is just a sidebar. I'm sorry, guys. Sports world, are you fucking right? I don't want to read one more fluff story. No more op-ed about Tim Tebow running through the rain with his shirt off and how his body looks. I don't care. If you don't have a fact-based article, if you don't have anything to tell me that's going to be better than what you told me last week, just wait. Just wait, because, oh my God, some of these articles I've been reading have been a waste of my mind time.
They think it's news, but these things aren't news. It's not news that Gabby Douglas's hair is not done when she's performing. As a gymnast.
Oh, but here's the thing. This is what I contend. It is news for the TMZ crowd. It's not news for people who actually follow the sport and who actually are there watching in order to take in, the good and the bad of the athletic, the athletic prowess that's going on the court, on the the field of battle. But people who are like, oh, how does she look? What is she wearing? What those people? Yeah, it's news to them.
Now you got to be Beyonce to be a gymnast.
Okay, now they have red carpet shows before they have the Oscars, before they have the Grammys, to see what everybody's wearing.
But look at let's look at 15 years ago when Dominique Dawes came out in '96. She was a good-looking girl.
She fine.
Oh my God! And she still has it.
She's still fine.
But she had on a ponytail as well. It's just because she had on a ribbon that we are not going to crash her. You see, that just shows how.
But remember, Twitter did not exist then.
It's so much.
And Facebook did not exist then. So now it's a whole different deal. And the problem is that you have a lot of the people who are participating in Twitter, participating in Facebook. Mm-hmm. The squeaky wheel always gets the grease. Yeah. Those are the people that are commenting. You're not hearing the silent majority who are like, who cares about her hair?
Yeah.
But isn't that always the case with news stories nowadays, that you have Tom Cruise and his wife and his ex-wife Katie Holmes. All right, I guarantee you that the majority of Americans don't give a flying fuck. All right, but
it was kind of like, oh, okay, they're getting divorced. All right,
we're being shoved this information down our throats, and like you said, the silent majority is being ignored.
I love media. I went to school for media. It's a great vehicle, but it is being used incorrectly. I think it's being used excessively. I don't think it's being used incorrectly. It's excessive. I think it's both. I think it's a little of both, because it is being used incorrectly with some of these stories they publicize that actually are to be newsworthy. Like, no.
Yes, and no. Read the history. I took communications in college. The history is that when TV really became prominent in the early 50s, there was a great big debate about it. How is this new medium going to be used? Is it going to be an educational vehicle for, in order to teach people things? Is it entertainment? Is it
propaganda?
Is it what, how should this new medium be used? And this has been an ongoing process since the 50s.
But even with the internet, I know people had a lot of tough time with the internet. People, remember, the military had the internet with them. It was exclusive only.
It was exclusive only to them
because of the power they knew that the internet had.
Yes.
And we're seeing now that it's huge.
Yes. People kill themselves off of what goes on the internet. People,
Luckily, Gabby Douglas is a strong enough person and has a strong enough personality where these accusations at her for not having her hair done is not getting her.
I hope she let it roll off her back.
Well, I mean, she fired back.
Oh yeah, she's already fired back. Like who cares about what the hell my hair looks like? But anybody who understands athletics, and I played athletics in high school, is that athletes don't give a damn about what the hell they look like. No. Okay, I wasn't concerned about. I mean, I'm not saying they don't give a damn. I'm saying is your appearance should be appropriate for what. If I'm going out to to a function, that where formal dress is required. Well, yes, of course, I'm going to dress appropriately. But I'm not going to, why should I expect Gabby Douglas to go get her hair done before she goes out to try and win a gold medal in gymnastics? That's ludicrous.
Hold on, let me say something, Lou. I'm not cutting you off, Lou, but I'm from Michigan. We have some of the biggest and baddest hairstyles that women can wear, the most outlandish. I've seen girls run track and field with them Empire State Buildings on top of their head.
Oh my God.
And they usually lose.
Yeah.
They usually get
It's
last.
not aerodynamic.
You can't run with all that hair on your head moving. I'm talking about just 100.
Yeah.
They just running a sprint and they got a full head of hair and it's just jiggling as they're going. And they finish last. I've never seen a girl with big hair win.
How can you? It's not aerodynamic.
I mean, look what Gabby Douglas does at her event. She does the vault, the uneven bars. If you go into the uneven bars with goddamn braids, or you want the extensions that the girls have nowadays, all right, this girl her hair might get cut off her head, all right, getting stuck on one of these bars or something. Yeah. What's wrong with having a ponytail as an athlete? There's nothing wrong. When I first saw this, I saw nothing wrong with her hair. I wasn't worried about it.
I didn't even notice her hair.
I can say this. I was worrying about her other features maybe. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're looking at a gymnast. You're looking for, something to look at.
But she's young. She still hasn't even hit her adult body yet.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying.
And that's what got me about her athleticism, on the positive side, was that this girl isn't even like fully grown yet. And her physique is perfect for a gymnast and an athlete because she's long and she's got those very very.
I'm talking about long. She's 4'11".
No, she's long, but she's long for this. She has
the look of
a gymnastic. As far as gymnasts have a squat type because they're smaller. She looks like a greyhound as far as as gymnasts are concerned, and that's what I was looking at. And people were like, "Oh, she's 16. Oh, you checking that shit out?" No, I have daughters that are younger than that. Okay, that's all right. I'm not looking at her sexually. Yeah. I'm looking at her from an athletic point of view, and athletically, having seen Olga Korbut, having seen Nadia Comaneci, having seen Kelly Strug, having seen Mary Lou Retton, she's fantastic. And I became an instant fan, as Vinny will tell you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this whole hair thing is hilarious. And it just illustrates just how ridiculous people can be.
Our priorities are mixed up, man. As a people, our priorities are really mixed up.
Big time.
Here's a challenge for all you ladies, because we're going to continue to move on. For all you ladies that had a problem with her hair, I got a challenge for you. Get up and walk your ass to the store. See how that hair lasts. See how it helps you. Just get up and walk to the store. Just walk to the gas station. Walk to the corner store. I bet you 80% of y'all won't do it.
They won't even try. They won't even get up.
You know what? Women look good in high heels too. How many of the sprinters have you seen in high heels?
Yeah. We gotta tighten up, ladies. This one on y'all. Because I love a woman that knows when and when not to. Sometimes, to me, I'm old school. A woman is the sexiest when she get out of the shower and that hair pulled back, and the sweatpants and a beater or a bra.
And no makeup?
Man, please. You talking about pregnancy. And you don't have to do all that makeup. Just be fresh, be clean.
But that's not sexy. That's not mainstream. That's not...
Shit. That's main enough for my stream.
It's main enough for my stream too.
I'm just thinking of that in the worst possible sense.
It's all good. We're gonna move on. Shout out to Gabby Douglas again. You are doing great. You are representing America We are very proud of you. Keep wearing your hair the way you
Hey,
do.
not only Gabby Douglas, but all the USA Olympians. All right, you're all doing great. It was a
Sonya Richards-Ross.
Oh, another one. She is very impressive.
Oh yeah, her husband is Aaron Ross. Shout out, new cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Used to play for the Giants. Got a Super Bowl ring or two.
But yeah, man, shout out to all the Olympians, man. I mean, there are a lot of Olympic events that are not really shown love. Like I was watching the NBC News last night, and they had a piece on a woman weightlifter. You know, she's the strongest woman in the world.
Nick Mango's sister. Shout out to Nick Mango's sister.
Fourth, right?
Yeah, she's a weightlifter.
Yeah.
One of the strongest women in the world.
Yeah, she plays fourth, I believe.
Yeah.
And she gets no love because of her appearance. She's a bigger woman.
Yes.
But all respect to her. I give her all the kudos in the world because she doesn't care. She's happy with herself. And
That's
she
what it's
knows
all about.
that she's an Olympian. She knows that she's a champion.
Oh yeah, and before we move on, shout out to Usain Bolt.
Oh yeah.
How do you win the 100 in 2 Olympics and you broke the record in the ladder? Not in your first one. This man ran a 9.63.
I don't think he tries anymore. Man.
Do you know how fast you have to be moving? When I was in high school, a guy broke the record in our high school, and I think he ran like a 10.7.
Right.
This man is running a 9.63.
He ran the whole thing.
Are you even touching the ground? And then his teammate got second. In the U.S., we placed third. Justin Gatlin. He got third. He got the bronze.
What about the other guy, Gay?
Yeah. So shout out to the U.S. Olympics. We're gonna keep it moving. Our main topic for the show today, and we've been jumping everywhere. We went from gun control to the Olympics, and now we're gonna talk about music. Something that I know, Vinny, I can't include you, but I know me and Lou are extremely passionate about music. Listening to it, making it, appreciating it. Me, myself, I've been in groups, I've been in bands, I play drums, trumpet, bass. Anything I can get my hands on it, I got a free moment too. So I wanted to talk a little, we haven't done any shows on music, man. About the old school music, about the way things, it always seems like, why is everything in the good old days? Why can nothing ever
be now?
Stay level? Because the music game has definitely dropped off. Definitely dropped off. Like we were talking about earlier, when you think about all the older groups and the bands, there's no bands anymore, man. Every group used to be a band originally.
Right.
Everybody could play an instrument. Now,
you'll be lucky if they can play a keyboard.
Man, please. Everything is digital. Everything can be automated. Everything can be created on the computer. And you make people think that you... Because I'm not a keyboard player, but I got a double stack over there. And if you give me enough time, I'm going to put together something fly. Now, if I got to play it live, it may be an issue. But, yeah, man, the game has changed. So, Lou, tell me some of your favorite groups, man.
Well, anybody who knows me, that my number one band is the Beatles.
Right.
That's easy stuff.
Absolutely.
I mean, most of my top 10 comprises people that were around before the 90s, frankly. I mean, you know, when you go from the Beatles to my second favorite band is the Funk Brothers, the famous Motown band that if you've heard the Supremes and the Four Tops and Stevie and Marvin Gaye, etc., you know who the Funk Brothers are. Right. That's my number 2 band. Earth, Wind & Fire is another big band for me. I saw them twice at the Garden back in the day, you know, when they were with the Emotions. They did the one with the Emotions.
How many kids did you create off Earth, Wind & Fire?
I am not at the moment to divulge, but I'll have to think about that one.
You answered enough for me.
You know, Marvin, Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway. Yeah. That's what, you know, pushed me as a kid. You know, on the rock and roll side, probably the latest band that really influenced me was Nirvana. Really, after Nirvana, my contention is there has been no rock and roll. You know, there really isn't, because
not true rock and roll.
Not like it was.
It's like alt rock now. It's like world rock. The game has changed. What about you, Benny? Who's some of your favorite groups? I know you in a whole nother bracket.
I'm in a whole nother bracket.
Just don't say Waka Flocka. I like
Waka Flocka. Is number 1 already. But nah, man, I get a lot of influence. I learned a lot from being with my dad. You know, my dad is a musician. You know, he likes the Beatles, so I've heard the best my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So, but mine personally, I love Stevie Wonder. I've always liked Stevie Wonder. I'm a big fan of Michael Jackson. I like Michael Jackson's earlier work. Thriller. Like right after Thriller hit,
and
maybe an album after that. After that, I was like iffy, but the main Michael Jackson hits, I'm all with it.
Oh yeah.
I like 112. 112 was always one of my favorite.
112 was definitely hot.
Boyz II Men was there.
Now, who most recently? Like, is there anybody that's started like in this century?
Yeah.
Mindless Behavior.
Mindless Behavior. Get your ass.
I just had to make sure. I'm trying to gauge where you at, Vinny.
See me, I love rap. I mean, I like Lupe Fiasco, Kanye West, Fabulous. I like New York rap. That's one of my big things recently.
You part of Dipset?
Dipset? Nah. Shout out to Cameron though. I used to love Cameron. Man. Cameron used to be hard.
Oh yeah.
I also like I like Drake. I like what Drake does. Not only from his rapping, but that he can sing too. That he can bring those two together. Not a lot of people can do that. He's really talented. I think it's a lot of talent. Even though most of his songs make you want to drive into a ditch somewhere. But I digress. Another one who I've recently got into is Wiz Khalifa. I like Wiz Khalifa. I like what he does.
He's like the new Snoop.
Yeah, he's like the new Snoop, man. But singing wise, there aren't a lot singers and rockers.
Yeah.
There's actually an indie band that I do want to give a shout out to. They're called Little Dragon. All right, it's a Swedish band.
Swedish, okay.
See, that's another point I wanted to get to. That most of the rock and roll that we might listen to now is so mainstream nowadays that all the good stuff is underneath. It's in the underground. Mm-hmm. You have to find the indie groups.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to find all these indie people who they're not out there.
Right.
This is one of those bands, Little Dragon. Luckily, I was watching Comedy Central. I was watching Daily Show one time.
Okay.
And they showed a commercial, Absolute commercial with this band.
Mm-hmm.
It has a woman. She's of Swedish and Japanese descent. Great singer. I love the way she sang. The band, her group mates in the background. One plays guitar, one plays keyboard, another one's just doing digital.
I think I've heard them.
Oh man, they were making sounds that I frankly never really heard before. It gave a new. It showed me something I never heard before. So I like listening to things that are different, that are off the wall.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because nowadays all the mainstream stuff is Travis Porter, Future. I can't say Future because I actually like Future too. I'm actually kind of a Future fan, but still, it's too much.
No Vanessa Hudgens.
Who the hell is Vanessa Hudgens?
These young girls that are out there. Katy Perry and
these Disney artists.
Listen,
Nicki Minaj.
I don't listen to women artists mainly because, like, the only one I probably listen to is Jasmine Sullivan. Jasmine Sullivan is one of the only girls recently who have got me out of my seat. And that's like, damn, that girl can sing.
You probably dated a girl like that, an angry girl who got in a bad relationship.
I bust the window.
That seems like I've written about you.
What you mean?
I'm sorry.
See, I'm a Chaka Khan fan. I'm more.
But that's what I'm saying. You don't have those women artists like you do back then.
Like then, yeah.
You don't like Beyonce?
I mean, but Beyonce's not really. I won't say she's our time anymore. She's more of the '90s. That's Destiny's Child.
See, to me,
she's old school.
Do you think
Beyonce's old school?
Do you think?
Man, if you part of Destiny's
Well,
Child,
to me she is. But but my point is, do you think Beyonce is better than Whitney Houston? Just an off the wall question.
Woo!
Do you think she's better than Whitney Houston?
Longevity, yes. Short term, no.
Okay, now all time, like if you take her whole career up until now, and you took Whitney's career, on the whole, would you say that she was better than Whitney Houston?
The greatest songs Beyonce's ever done. Bills.
No.
Bootylicious.
No. You guys are extremely wrong. I like Beyonce. Her first album was awesome. Her first solo album.
Yeah.
That shit was great. Me, myself, and I.
But you see, the problem I have with Beyonce is she's a writer, and she tends to repeat herself. A lot of her songs sound samey to me.
Well, see, that has a lot to do with your production too.
Right.
Her team.
Right.
But I say this: Beyonce is extremely talented. Personally, I like Alicia Keys more than Beyonce.
Oh my God!
Because I think Alicia Keys is talent out of the planet.
Her
last 3 albums, I would say that I actually got them and I've listened to all of them.
But she can't sing live.
I have a pet peeve against Alicia Keys.
What's the problem?
My problem with Alicia Keys is that she is extremely talented. She's a classically trained piano player, and I don't think she has the greatest voice in the world. I mean, she's. Let's put it this way: she's better than Janet. She might not be as good as Beyonce.
No way.
She's better than Janet. That's funny.
Because Janet's an awful singer. I mean, the only one that's worse than Janet is Madonna. But anyway, but the thing is about her is that I think that she's dumbed down her music, Alicia Keys. I think that she has the ability to be able to make like probably, classic music, and she hasn't up to this point, except for the Empire State song, which was almost like
that was a Jay-Z song.
It became a Jay-Z. It's almost by accident.
Now, do you say that listening to her albums? Because I can say this from a firm point. From her first album that I heard with
Diary of Alicia Keys.
Yeah, Diary of Alicia Keys.
Songs in A minor.
Songs in A minor. Her last album, her most recent album, I actually sat and listened to it. And
it went hot.
It was highly reviewed. Mm-hmm. People liked it, but it's not mainstream.
No.
But you got to think about too all of the different portions that are added into it. Alicia Keys, who is her boyfriend / husband? Swiss Beats. So with that,
the man whose house she broke.
Right.
Broke up.
Her production is going to change. Some of her music is going to be a little bit more dumbed down because of who she's working with. But when she produces, her music is extraordinary.
Right.
When she lets other people produce, it's kind of like, okay, you're trying to stay relevant because as an artist, you always have to factor that in the mainstream.
Yeah,
even when you don't
for the
want
middle.
To.
Yeah.
And I have a family member going through that right now. He has some of the best music I've ever heard, but it's not mainstream. So now this album he's approaching, everything he's messing with this producer from LA or this producer there in Atlanta. And he doesn't need a producer. My cousin produced for everybody, but he's trying to be more mainstream. And that is not his strong suit. So with when you're talking about Alicia Keys, I know for a fact, one of her last biggest songs Drake wrote. So it's like when you do stuff like that.
I think the album's called Elements of Freedom.
Yeah, it sure is. It sure is. But when you start hearing those pop songs and those mainstream songs, it's because they're trying to branch out. It's because of the people behind them. It's because of their management team. Oh, we need to do this. This is hot right now.
We need to get money.
Yeah.
Instead of them saying, yo, just make what you make.
And that's my problem. Yeah, that's a big problem with me because it's like I believe the artist handles the music.
Yeah.
That's how I play it. Nobody's going to tell me what kind of music to write.
Right.
That's why people are like, oh, why don't you write for other people? That I don't write according to okay, this is the subject and this is what you're going to write about and this is what you're going to say. No, I'm saying what I'm saying. It's coming out of my brain.
Right.
So it's like that never worked for me. And I understand that whole attitude of your management telling you whatever. I go with how the Beatles did it. Beatles told Brian Epstein, okay, you do take care of everything else. We take care of the music.
The Beatles were just an anomaly. They were they were so good. They were so huge that they could do whatever the fuck. If they wanted to come out,
eventually they did.
If they wanted to come out and make an album with
eventually
Hindu
they did, but
and Islamic sounds.
But let me tell you a quick story. Even before they got their record contract, they went and had an audition with Decca. All right, with Decca Records. Okay, the manager Brian Epstein suggested all these songs, and they went and they did it, and they didn't get the gig.
Yeah.
And John and Paul went to him and said, "We're going to handle this from here on in." And so the next time they auditioned for George Martin and EMI, and they got the gig. Mm-hmm. Okay, you know what I'm saying? It was just like his strength. Brian Epstein's strength, you have to understand your management's strength.
Yeah.
If their strength is marketing, do not let them talk you into writing certain kinds of music because they don't know shit about music. That's not their strength.
But that's why you see now, a lot of these groups, they're not even given creative control in their contract.
Yes.
And it's standard now for the label, the company to have 60% creative control.
Look at Diddy. Every time a new Bad Boy group comes out, Diddy's have a hand in it.
He put some ad-libs over.
Honest Behavior, Day 26.
Yeah.
The other
Danny Kane, Donnie Klein.
Dirty Money. Okay.
Yeah, the list goes on and on. But that's why I give kudos because I listen to all types of music from all walks of life. I'm from Detroit.
Right.
We still haven't heard Joe.
Yeah, we got into it, so I just let it ride.
Yeah. We got to hear the Baker top 5.
I mean, my list is extremely long.
Oh yeah,
your main
guy. When you reach to me,
okay, if you're stuck on a desert island and you could only have 5 artists, let's go.
Temptations, Boyz II Men, Parliament, P-Funk, Bootsy's first album.
Bootsy.
I got to have Bootsy.
He's got to have Bootsy.
And number 5. Shit.
Make my punk to feel.
See, it's too many people that can slide into that 5 slot.
We're gonna concise you, okay? Name the guy that you.
I mean, I love, like you said, I go from every era. Like I'm a music fan probably from the '60s on up. Yeah. Seriously, before the '60s, I know a few songs here and there, but
That honky tonk.
Oh yes, I'm the great pretender.
no, I'm on that. Oh, smokestack lightning. But I digress. Like I said, I'm a Temptations fan. He listed them all. I love the Four Tops. I love the OJs, Earth, Wind and Fire. Kool and the Gang is one of my favorites. The Isleys. I love the Isleys. Oh man, my man Lionel. Lionel Richie. Man, the list goes on. I'm a big Luther fan. Luther's probably my favorite solo artist.
That's my grandmama's.
Boyz II Men is my favorite group. Yeah. And then with the newer era, of course, you got Jagged Edge, 112, all the bands like that. I loved it, man. I love Mint Condition. They're like the last band.
Right.
Everybody played. Everybody did something.
Right.
It's like I said.
How about the more recent? Like who is
last 10 years?
Last 10 years.
My favorite solo artist last 10 years is Music Soul Child.
Music Soul Child.
I love the way he writes and produces. Again, just like Alicia Keys, he's not good live. I heard him live a few times, and I actually know some people that play in his band. Extremely disappointed. But studio-wise, he makes some of the best studio albums.
Okay.
The last 4 albums he's done, you can listen to start to finish.
Oh yeah, Music Soul Child.
Music, I love his albums. They speak to me. I love the way he writes. I love the way he chords. He really embodies that old style sense of music, harmonies, chords, transitions. It's not just
there's an arrangement. It's not
new
just
age soul music.
Yeah, the music.
What was that song we were listening to before we got here when we were at QT?
Oh man, my dad he's fascinated with the Travis Porter song "Bring It Back."
Oh,
bring it back,
yeah.
bring it back, bring it back, bring it back.
Yeah, that's the new age of music.
See, that's something I want to ask y'all too, man. See, hearing all this crap, man. And I know you, being back in the day, I know you heard a lot of crap in the 60s.
Sure.
And I know you in the 80s, you heard a lot of crap in the 80s, early 90s. What are some of the worst artists that you guys have, think you guys have ever heard?
A lot of the ones that are really bad that during my day you wouldn't know of anymore.
I'm trying to think of this guy.
You got to remember, I lived through a period of time in America where the song Disco Duck was number 1 on the Billboard. Disco Duck.
You said one of the worst songs I've heard?
Worst songs, worst artists.
Eddie Murphy's song.
Eddie Murphy's song.
I like to
Party all the time, party all the time, party all the time.
I heard that, I was like, what the fuck, Eddie? I know you're making that money.
I know someone who loves that song. Every time I tell her about that, she's like, oh, that's the jam. I like to party all. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
No. It's a lot. I don't even think about horrible artists anymore because I entrenched myself in such good music.
Yeah, we tried to block them out.
Before we move on, I gotta give a shout out to one of my favorite producers, writers, and musicians, Eric Roberson. A lot of people don't know Eric Roberson. He's a writer, singer. He's produced for everybody, for music, for India Irie, everybody big he produces for. He has continually stayed underground on purpose because he will not give his craft or his money to a label. He does everything out of the trunk. He comes to Atlanta probably about 4 or 5 times a year. His showcases always sell out. When I was in college and I was doing event planning, I always booked him. Always. Eric Roberson, if y'all don't know about him, look up Esoteric. Look up The Vault Volume 1. Great music, and you're going to hear a lot of music that you've heard from other artists. He wrote it. But it's only on his album. You know, he doesn't publicize himself. He's not mainstream. But I love him. Shout out to you, E-Roll. I can't wait to see you again. I love his craft. I love the way he writes. I love the way he conducts his business. And he's great, man. He writes all his own shit in his team. Like, I think he was signed originally, and he got dropped for whatever reasons.
Yeah.
But his sound is so silky. Mm-hmm. You don't hear people sing or write like that. Mm-hmm. His lyrics are so deep, man. He got a song. If you want to hear some of his music, look up a song called Obstacles. Look up that whole first album, The Vault, Volume 1. Eric Roberson, The Vault, Volume 1. Just look that up. He's got 3 or 4 albums since then, but that still holds to be my favorite. And like I said, you hear a lot of songs that you've heard from other artists. Oh, and shout out to R. Kelly, too. R. Kelly did everything. Regardless of his past and his personal life.
I want you to pee on me.
His music, his craft, his production. You can tell when R. Kelly wrote a song. And he writes nothing but hits.
See, I love R. Kelly too. But that Trapped in the Closet shit.
But that was creative though.
But that was one of the most entertaining items I think I've ever heard.
Yeah. R. Kelly does monumental shit, but like I said, his personal reputation overshadows that. But R. Kelly is brilliant as a musician.
He's a wonderful writer. I think he's a great writer.
He's a great writer, great producer. But the thing about R. Kelly is that people don't understand as an artist, you don't have to hit all the ceiling notes and do all the theatrics. Be yourself. R. Kelly stays within his range, and he just works different angles. You never hear him over singing or trying to sing too hard. R. Kelly does R. Kelly, and he just makes it great. So shout out to him, shout out to Usher. You know, cats like that. Like I said, man, I love music, the game. But why do y'all think the game has changed so much? Why do you think that we're not getting a better product, to say the least? Because we have all this, like you said, the song, the Travis Porter. Songs like that, for me, it's all categories. The new music of today is pretty much club music, dance music. In the club, I bounce to it all day. I bounce to Waka, Future, all that. But just sitting at the house listening to music? Absolutely not. Okay, now ladies, yeah, you know you bad. I mean, that shit, when it comes on in the club, or like if you're getting ready for a party, yes, all day. I'm the first one. But as far as having some music with some substance, see, when I was growing up, music was therapy. Music was very therapeutic for me, man.
See, but now the club is a therapy now.
Yeah.
That's why people get shot and beat up.
Yeah.
And I think that the demise of radio has contributed to that.
Oh, Atlanta radio. Okay.
We bringing it back.
It is.
Truth be told, is bringing it back.
Terrible Atlanta radio.
Yeah.
One of the worst radio I've ever heard in any metropolitan city in the United States is Atlanta radio. Macon has better radio than Atlanta does.
Statesboro, Georgia
has better radio than Atlanta.
It's programming, man.
All the way up and down the East Coast. I have Charlotte, Philly, you name it.
It's state-run radio.
It's programming, because Atlanta is such a big staple in the music market, especially over the last 20 years. Atlanta has exploded. So because of that, everybody's connected now. It's like, okay, what's hot? What's hot? What's hot? And it's hot for everybody. There's no individuality. You very rarely on the radio out here hear underground music. You have to go on. You hear the same top 15 songs.
You'll never hear an indie artist, okay? Like even as a rap enthusiast, like I love rap music.
Yeah.
It's very hard to hear a new artist that you never hear
That's
about.
that shit
I guess everything goes in a transition, because during the 60s, after radio had been in place for, maybe 30 years by that point, all of a sudden you started hearing all these little pirate stations. You started hearing all these independent stations.
College radio.
And there was a place for dance music. There was a place for ethnic music. You see, up in New York when I was growing up, WLIR in Long Island was a big source of new music, which you don't have in New York anymore. Everything is you hear a lot of that shit.
Take it over.
But if you want to hear like some rock music and you want to hear something that's a little off the beaten path, you're not going to hear it in New York anymore. And it's not on the radio anymore. It's on the internet.
Yeah.
And it's, you have to seek it out.
XM radio and Sirius radio are ahead of the game.
That's what we're shooting for.
They have taken
over. That's our next neighborhood.
That's our next step. Truth be told, would like to be a part of the XM Sirius community. Sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, you all good, man. I mean, I no doubt I would love you, because in XM and Sirius radio, you have a lot more freedom. Yeah. All right.
That's what radio used to be like.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think radio. I call it state-run radio, because this is the radio that the people want you to hear. The people who are programming these things. The owners of these radio stations. All right, listen, 107.9. Hey, I give all the love in the world.
In Atlanta,
Hot 107.9. I give all the love to the world for them. But they play the shittiest music I think I ever heard in my life. All right, when you telling me that I need to go get a CD player and hook it up to my goddamn car because I ain't trying to listen to the radio, all my friends, we don't listen to the radio. I have no friends who come to me and like, hey man, you heard that jam on the radio? Fuck no.
I don't listen to the radio for music.
No, it's not for music.
I listen to the radio like Ricky Smiley in the morning.
Michael Baisden.
Entertainment, Michael Baisden, Steve Harvey. I listen to the
sports
talk
radio.
shows.
Sports radio.
Or the sports radio. But as far as music, I go online.
Right.
I go to World Star Hip Hop.
And that's where the game has changed. When I was growing up, it was the radio and occasionally the television.
And another thing, man, I need to take shots at BET, MTV, MTV2, all those guys, because they don't show enough love to the artists they need to show love to.
BET's been slacking since they sold out.
BET is trash.
Since they sold out.
But they're Disney now.
Yeah. Since they sold out. Since old Bob Johnson turn the keys in.
There's nowhere.
Gave it to the mouse.
There's nowhere on TV where they show a wide array of music. Even MTV, they show very commercial things. That's why I got to shout out to Fuse Network. Fuse, they show a lot of music that a lot of people wouldn't take the time to listen to. But they go to alternative, rock, pop, hip hop.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Even Spanish music sometimes. They widen the bar, you know, and I think more networks need to be like that, but they don't get the love. They don't have the mainstream love.
Right.
All coming back to the mainstream thing, how it's so big and a lot of people can't penetrate it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
You have to go your own direction. You really, this is the best time for innovators.
Yes.
For pioneers.
Yeah.
Because everything is so mainstream. Like I said, even with this show, I got to continually pub us. Because what we're doing is still not huge. I mean, there's a lot of people that do podcasts and radio shows. I feel like we're a fuse between the two.
Yeah.
And we're better because we're entertaining. Man, I listen to some podcasts and it is so drab, so boring.
Sounds like NPR, right?
Oh my God. And truth be told, it's here to change that. Because let us get on Sirius or satellite, I guarantee you.
Oh boy, I'll change the game of damn self.
Every show will debut some underground music because I keep it.
Oh yeah.
I keep it's a lot of great artists coming out that you'll never hear on the radio.
And there needs to be some light shed on the talented, on the people who are truly talented, not the goddamn Waka Flockas and the Gucci Man. No offense to those guys, you know, y'all do y'all thing. I mean,
like I said, shout out. This is a time and a place for them, but it's just so limited. That's my thing.
You know what I'm saying? Like there are other people besides Gucci Man and Waka Flocka and Travis Porter who deserve to have their song played on the radio.
Their music played.
And like I said, we're not hating in any regard because I listen to all that shit.
Oh yeah, I show love to all y'all.
You can't help but listen to it. It's everywhere.
It's only so far. I'm not listening to no Gucci Man after I done got my heart broken. You know what I mean?
That's
like, man, when I got Drizzy, shout out to Drizzy, another talented artist. But like when I was growing up, man, and I going through stuff, I put in Boys to Men and listen to the whole album. They had a song on there called Never Let a Broken Heart Take Your Chance for Love Away. Nigga, that got me through like my 7th grade girlfriend. You can't. It ain't songs like that no more.
112 Part 3 album. Man.
Oh yeah. 112 had some. I performed some of their stuff. Yeah, y'all dig enough, deep enough on YouTube, you'll see me out there. But we digressed. We are at 57 minutes. So we're gonna round this thing out, man. Who do you think is who's your up and coming? Who have you been listening to that you think has a possibility to have a good career?
All right, some up and coming guys from a rap. I know a lot of y'all might not know of him. I got a guy named Joey Badass. He's a guy from New York. Very talented. I show a lot of love to Joey Badass. He has a music video on MTV too. I forget what the song's called, but I liked his mixtape. You know, another guy who I also want to give a quick shout out to is Dom Kennedy.
Yeah, Dom is nice.
Dom Kennedy
out of LA, right?
Yeah,
he's nice.
He gets some good music. And lastly, Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah,
Kendrick Lamar, I'm extremely impressed with his.
West Coast making a comeback.
Oh yeah, and it's about damn time because I'll say this: the rap game has been missing some of that West Coast love.
Absolutely.
The West about the Tupac and the Big.
Oh yeah, you need both coasts. You need North and South. You need East and West. I never understood that whole separation of by region.
Well, I mean, it died after Dr. Dre came east.
Yeah.
And he started getting guys like Eminem.
Yeah.
But I'm very. I gotta give a shout out to Dre too because he's working with him. He's working with the game.
He's from Canada. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, Canadian. Yeah,
Drake's
the Canadians. Listen, man, the Canadians are great at that. They're great at assimilating into American society. They get us, and sometimes they get us better than we get ourselves.
Absolutely.
I have no new artist. My newest artist is from 1982.
That's fine. I kind of figured that. You're in a different bracket. At this point in your life, you are who you are.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
I can still evolve. I can still grow.
Me as well.
Well, I have heard some new people that I've been interested in. But again, other than the Jill Scotts and the Jasmine Sullivan, she impressed me. Other than stuff like that, a lot of the women have impressed me, but a lot of guys have disappointed me lately. Guy bands, there's no guy bands, there's no guy groups, and the individuals have not blown me out the water.
I got one more guy I want to give a quick shout out to. Talk about artists, newer artists. Gotta give a shout out to Frank Ocean. Recently he came out, he was homosexual. I give all respect to that man.
Is he related to Billy?
Nah, I don't think he'd be.
But he did play off that name.
Yeah, okay.
He played off the name.
But yeah, Frank Ocean, he's a wonderful singer. He's very talented.
He is.
People taking shots at him because
I've heard of him.
Taking shots at him because he's gay. I have no problem with the man being gay.
Oh, I could care less.
First of all, he sounded like he was gay already. I was
right.
suspect.
Right.
I could care less. You know what
no
I'm saying?
shocker.
But he's still a great artist, man. Listen to him. I mean, if you're homophobic, don't worry about it. He won't come in and touch you.
You won't be able to tell through the music.
Yeah, he's
a great artist.
Great
Show
singer.
him love.
Great singer.
So yeah, man, we're going to there. We had 60 plus. You know,
Well,
it's all
we're
good.
going to touch on this music some more in the future because we've
Absolutely.
been really lax on it.
Absolutely. This is one of our favorite topics and favorite things to do in our spare time. So we're going to definitely hit it again, but we had to give y'all an introduction. You know, we're peeling off the layers on the people on this show. Me, Vinny, Lou.
Like an onion.
You know, we stanking right now.
Like a stank onion.
So I'm... Yes, sir. Well, I'm Scott Baker. This is Truth Be Told.
Vinny Fernandez, a.k.a. V-Kid That Dude.
I'm Lou, Lou, and I hope that you keep listening. I anticipate you will keep listening because it's such a great show.